James Arthur Baldwin, civil rights activist. One of his famous quotes was, not everything that we face can be changed. But nothing can be changed until we face it. Not exactly motivational, but honest. It's reality. And James Baldwin often wrote, discussed civil rights issues. He was an activist. He discussed relationship between black and white people. And one of the things that comes to my mind, is society, when it's set up, there are rules. When games are set up, there are rules. And people set up rules very often to benefit themselves. And when someone tries to change those rules, they do what they can to maintain the power of the game, the way that they envision it, right? The way that they envision the game. And so, if one group of people is trying to either set the rules or change the rules to benefit one group, we would say that's unfair. But we would also say it's a violation of the rule. And when it comes to the law, there are many things I find myself saying to potential clients, or actual clients, I suppose, sometimes, but just because something is unfair, it doesn't mean that it's against the law, right? Now, there's a moral underpinning to these concepts. So there are things that started off as unfair, and then laws changed. We created them. Judges decided laws were constitutional, unconstitutional, and laws changed. That's how they change. And so what was once just unfair becomes illegal, and potentially vice versa. Things that started off illegal have now become legal. We see that in, marijuana, stuff like that. Alcohol is going back and forth. So the question is, when these rules are made to disadvantage another group, technically, anytime a rule is made to advantage one group against another, it's discrimination. But again, go back to what's fair and what's unfair. Discrimination is legal if you decide, I want to have this for dinner and not that. However, when you're making decisions about people's lives and their livelihood, and it's based on immutable characteristics, things they cannot change, it becomes less fair because there's nothing they can do to be in that game and to win that game. So they're kind of set up in a situation in society where it's a small microcosm of our society, a game, and sometimes you can't change the rules because the people in power don't want you to change the rules. That's what we have in this society. White people, very often, people in power, and sometimes it's black people in power. They don't want to let women get in the same positions they have, or black people that, for whatever reason, maybe they just don't like black people. Maybe they just don't want anyone taking their job, or they're worried about their kids coming in, and they're going to be disadvantaged because all the black people, or once they get all these rights that they didn't have, are now going to take the jobs of the white people, as if there isn't enough of everything to go around. Okay, or either way. So, one of the things I've noticed is, I have 3 kids, and it was my youngest, my middle, and the oldest. They set up these rules, okay? And when they play games, they set up rules, and they're constantly trying to, if the younger one figures out that the older one has established a rule that disadvantages them, well, the older one has to change the rule, right? And they keep changing it. They keep moving the pie line, so it's harder to score. A moving target, if you will. And unfortunately, we haven't even begun to get into the process when we talk about our society and rules changing, whether it's racism or not. People don't want change. It's inconvenient. It's difficult. It takes up resources, time, money. People get upset. And so there are natural reasons outside of discrimination that people don't want change. However, when you make the rules to the game in such a way that a certain group of people cannot advance because the rules are not changing, you got to change the game if you're not going to change the rules. What does that mean? I don't know, but I don't think it's a society that's built for everyone when the rules are set up and maintained in such a way that do not allow for certain groups of individuals who they're playing the game, whether they like it or not. They're in this country. Black people are here. They've been here for a long time. Other minorities are here. Other groups that people in power take advantage of, women. We're all here. We're all here. So how do we live peacefully together? And maybe the people in power, they don't want to trade peace for their power. So let's keep that in mind. There will be active resistance regularly against change. There always has been, whether it's been based on race or based on something else. Doesn't make it right. Still got to change. I don't have the answer, but it needs to be discussed. We can't just keep this lens focused on police brutality. We have a problem with policing people of our society. Black people seem to be more of a target, whether it's police officers are afraid, they're not trained properly. It just keeps happening on and on and on. Take care. Have a good day.